How do you think your relationship to Yiddish has changed over your lifetime?
Well, I think as in most cases, when you're younger, you're involved in things, you're not thinking too much about them. So while there was Yiddish being spoken between my grandparents and my parents, we didn't think too much about that, except as most kids, my brother and I would think, oh, they're saying something they don't want us to understand. So that was sort of, but again, there was not an appreciation or a lack of appreciation. That's just how it was. And then there was a period of time after my grandparents died that, we didn't hear it, but I don't know that we missed it because it wasn't quite something, again, we had some of it through camp. That, I guess, was enough. I think what happened later on as we get older and you reach my point in life where you look back and you sort of do say, oh, it's too bad that I didn't have more of a connection, or I don't have a better ability to really understand some of my own family history, because a lot of it is in Yiddish. I have a cookbook of my mother's that she made, a notebook where she kept recipes written in Yiddish. So I'm not sure, how to go about understanding that. But again, that's that. So I think it's changed in the sense that I feel some regret. I think a lot of my mother's Yiddish with me, when she would lapse into Yiddish, was usually in a way to express, there was a lot of expressions, very colorful expressions, often meant to sort of intensify a denigration of somebody or something. That the Yiddish seemed to capture that so well, even when it sounded, even when the word itself could be like maven, he's a maven. Well, not. So I think it was, in some ways, I had an appreciation for it as such a wonderful way to express things that you don't have sort of in English, other than just, being direct. So there was a way to sort of convey your feelings with, sort of your underlying, and you could sort of present yourself very, so that was in a lot of ways, again, a lot of expressions, discussions, not so much, because again, I didn't have the language. But I mean, that's sort of my take on it, was that it was able to transmit, and that was part of the culture, always sort of not, being in the diaspora, you don't want to insult your host, but you also, don't want to be too glorifying, the generation that went through, a lot of horror and distrust. Well, again, I think I have some nostalgia, even though I'm not a Yiddish speaker, but when I heard of this project, I did have some nostalgia that, again, there's, it's a little bit of a loss. I feel a little bit of a loss, like I don't have that connection. My parents are no longer alive. Grandparents are no longer alive. And so there's nobody immediately around me to share this sort of the importance of Yiddish with. So I think there's sort of this sense of loss, which a little sad, but